Now, Fox News host Andrea Tantaros had some terrible things to say, of course, about women and feminism. When doesn't she, of course? And she brought on Dr. Manny Alvarez to talk about why feminism is to blame for women not getting married anymore. Well, let's listen to Dr. Manny first.
How the number of kids being born to unmarried cohabitating couples is at a record high in the United States. Okay, Dr. Manny, couples not marrying, shacking up, having babies, why?
It's every day in our practices. You know, I deliver babies for a living, and I see this, you know, it's a quarter at least of patients that we see every day in many, many hospitals in the country. Why is it happening? Well, for a lot of times it's cultural. There are many people coming to this country where that is a norm, where people meet, they get together, they want to have a baby, and bingo, they come back here, they don't think about the marriage thing. There are some people that don't believe in marriage, and I think that that's probably a problem. But this new philosophy sometimes is the way people were brought up, but also is because, in my opinion, the whole concept of marriage, whether it's heterosexual marriage or homosexual marriage, whatever the case may be, is really something that people are not paying attention. The concept of fidelity is something that is being lost.
So because people aren't getting married, there's no more concept of fidelity. Well, that's strange. I happen to know, and maybe this is just anecdotal evidence on my part, I happen to know a lot of couples who aren't married, and they tend to have a lot of fidelity. And here's the thing about it, right? Marriage is a contract. That's essentially what it is a legal binding contract. When two people are together, they don't necessarily have to be married to have a child. Marriage is all about, at this point, government tax credits and other different benefits. So why is it that important? It's kind of a good question. It's something that I have to ask. Why is marriage so important? Why is it so bad living together and having a family together while not being married? I don't understand what the big deal is. Now, co-host Harris Faulkner, however, she had an interesting thought about why this was happening as well. Well, let's listen to her, and then, of course, let's afterwards have Andrea Tantaros chime in with her thoughts.
And if you look at the statistics, Harris, men specifically are opting out of marriage. I mean, this is a term that's been dubbed by Breitbart as the sexodus.
All right, so I get into lots of trouble when I pipe up because I was raised by Shirley and Bob, and this is how they raised me.
Oh, Bob and Shirley.
I know. I love them. I mean, it's all about the milk and the cow. I don't think there's a lot of pressure on men to get married because we are much more sexually free society in general, if you kind of look historically. But what I'm saying is, as a society, are we, and it's a question really for the doctor too, are we really at a point where, sex and marriage don't have to go together anymore? Obviously, it used to be part of a song that rhymed, but we've gotten away from that. Guys just don't feel the pressure anymore.
Well, and Kennedy, women have been encouraged to give it up, as Harris talks about, freely with the rise of feminism, have sex like a man. So they're doing this, and they're not making the guy step up to put a ring on it.
You want to say something bad about women? Bring on a woman. You want to say something bad about black people? Bring on a black person. This is ridiculous on many different counts. Women have been encouraged to give it up freely with the rise of feminism. Have sex like a man. And your problem is? They're not making the guy step up and put a ring on it. Once again, I don't quite understand what the issue is. Now, I understand you do get single-parent households, and that can be a problem, especially for the African-American community. I get that. I understand that. However, as a trend overall, people aren't getting married because they don't see a reason to. They're also putting off marriage until later because of careers. And because, they're spending more time getting educated to try and get a better career, and they just don't feel, I guess they're right when they don't feel as much societal pressure because marriage isn't the end-all, be-all. People are actually saying that, we can do something more. And we don't have to get married because it's no longer culturally forced upon you. I don't think I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing, but when it comes to Fox News, they're like, it's the disintegration of the family. People born out of wedlock, it's the worst thing in the world. I don't agree. But there you go. I don't think that this is a problem. And the other thing is that Dr. Manny pointed out, immigrants don't respect the institution of marriage. Now, if they're talking about people coming over from, say, South America, Mexico, they're actually very Catholic. And Catholicism is definitely big on marriage. So maybe you need to be more specific about which immigrants obviously don't respect the institution of marriage. Like I said, it's a social, it's a legal binding contract between two adults. And if you choose not to have that contract, as I know many people do, but still have good monogamous relationships where you raise a happy, healthy child, I just don't see a problem.